Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rasya Nurul Zahra. My registration number is A1M219060 and I'm from class B. So today, I would like to explain my materials about language assessment in higher education. This topic talks about the various solutions which have been adopted for pre-entry, post-entry, and exit assessment of English proficiency in higher education, the challenges that remain, and the implication of work in this area for the theory and practice of language testing. So, there are 6 main points that I will explain, that is, admissions testing, alternative routes for university admissions and post-entry English language assessment, assessing English proficiency for university teaching, assessing language skills at exit from university, problems and difficulties, and future direction. First is admissions testing. The concentration of resources within a small number of well-resourced testing agencies means that resource relating to large-scale English admissions tests continues to be highly influential in the 21st century. Featuring prominently in the discipline's premier journals, Language Testing and Language Assessment Quarterly, and in other applied linguistics outlets, 2 major developments in the first decade of the new millennium are worthy of note. One was the launch of internet-based TOEFL or TOEFL IBT in the late 2005 after years of preparatory work including a series of conceptual framework, documents, and empirical studies specifying the construct of academic speaking, listening, reading, and writing proficiency in communicative terms. The second development was the 2009 launch of the computer-based Person Test of English or PTE Academic, and now recognized by many English medium institutions as an alternative to IELTS and TOEFL IBT. The PTE is designed to measure English competence in academic context based on reading, listening, speaking, and writing tasks. But, unlike its competitor test, it is also measures the enabling skills of vocabulary, grammar, spelling, pronunciation, and discourse competence, and also offering information about these elements in a separate report. A range of other English tests, both large and small scale, is also operating in the admissions testing marketplace, whether designed for local or international use. Among the better known of these are the College English Test or CET in mainland China, the General English Proficiency Test or GEPT in Taiwan, and the Aiken Test in Japan. With the proliferation of English language admissions tests has come the need for equivalent studies which align the tests with one another or with a scale such as the Common European Framework of Reference or CEVR, and now it is used by many institutions both within and outside Europe for policy making, goal setting, and reporting purposes. Second, it's alternative routes for university admissions and post-entry English language assessment. While much attention has been paid to the design, delivery, and validation of English admissions tests and to the importance of appropriate uses of test scores, there remain a large number of international and other students who enter the university via paid ways, which do not require satisfactory performance on a high-stake language test. These students may participate in foundational or EAP courses geared to preparing them for academic study. where satisfactory completion is recognized as adequate grounds for admissions or provisional admissions in some cases. While there are strong pedagogical arguments for preparatory courses, there's also a risk that administrators may set entry levels too low with view to attracting fee-paying clientele. Regardless of the pathway taken, many students meeting minimum entrance requirements may face language challenges in higher education. This applies not only to international students but also to domestic ones, particularly those from low English literacy backgrounds or who have specialized in school subjects that make limited language demands. Post-entry procedures are therefore needed to determine who may need assistance and what form this assistance should take. Third is assessing English proficiency for university teaching. In addition to assessment which target the academic English needs of students for study purposes are those designed to determine whether graduate students or indeed other non-native English-speaking staff members employed in English medium institutions have adequate oral proficiency for teaching purposes. In the United States, it has long been the practice to employ the international graduate students as teaching assistants, or ITS, and in the undergraduate courses in science, mathematics, and engineering. A variety of solutions have been adopted for screening and subsequent training of ITS, including the use of existing scores on the speaking component of an international admissions test like the TOEFL IBT on the one hand, and on the other, custom-built tests developed for local contexts such as Test of Oral Proficiency or TOE at the University of California, Los Angeles. The chief benefit of locally developed procedures is that they can target with more precision the communication skills of particular relevance for teaching. The test results can also be better integrated with local instructional programs for those requiring further training. Fourth is assessing language skills at exit from the university. Uncertainty among academics about how or indeed whether to attend to language in assessing disciplinary content may result in students failing to pay due attention to their English development. While the idea of language intervention to support at-risk students has been embraced in many English medium universities, such intervention tend to be confined to the early stage of undergraduate study and not necessarily embedded within the core academic curriculum. Moreover, feedback on course assignment varies widely and seldom makes mentions of language issues. English language development over the duration of an academic degree program cannot therefore be taken for granted, as a number of recent pre- and post-test studies spanning different study periods have shown. And of course, it must be borne in mind that a number of factors independent of the academic context, such as attitude to English and English speakers and exposure to English outside the classroom, may hinder language development. And on the other hand, it is also conceivable that the general proficiency test often used for comparison purposes and may be insensitive to students' growing mastery of discipline-specific language genres. Be that as it, Some universities have seen fit to introduce exit test English language proficiency to motivate university students to improve their English and to provide future employers with information about students' levels of proficiency at the time of graduations. One such test expressly designed for this purpose is the Graduating Student Language Proficiency Test, or we can say GSLPA. The fifth is problems and difficulties. The above overview has uncovered a number of unresolved problems relating to English assessment in higher education. Perhaps the most central of these is that of the construct representation. How is the complex and multi-layered construct of English proficiency for academic purpose, with all its sociolinguistic and disciplinary variation, best represented in a language test? And to what extent should the construct of academic English be expanded to encompass the language demands of the future professional settings which students are being prepared for? The shifting formats and changing content of the various English admissions tests reviewed above reflect serious attempts to resolve these questions. But convincing evidence that one is lacking in approach has greater predictive power than another lacking and difficult together given the plethora of other variables involved in academic success. The sixth material, or the last material, is the future directions. It would seem that the key to more valid and useful English assessment in higher education lies in effective long-term institutional policy making, which puts language tests in their rightful place as part of an integrated teaching and learning program, which makes explicit not only the content objectives of courses and the standards of achievement expected, but also the nature and level of English proficiency expected at various points in students' study trajectory. Effective policy making, if concerned for language development, are to be anything more than tokenistic, must stipulate not only the mechanism for ensuring adequate proficiency at entry, but also the means of identifying learning needs and monitoring language development throughout students' courses and on graduation. Such policies should provide the basis for informed choices of assessment tools and innovation of strategies, as well as outlining the strategies for education of core users, including administrators and academics, in interpreting and acting appropriately on assessment information. Okay, that's all my materials about language assessment in higher education. If there's any mistakes, please forgive me. And if there is anyone who wants to ask questions, please write your questions in the comment section. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.